Next room, it's the same thing. You're throwing out a billion balls, you're throwing out a billion sparks all over the place. I don't have to look, I can look at you guys. I just have to like hold down right click, press my balls, and I'll teleport around the room a few times, and then almost everything is dead. Alrighty, what is going on YouTube? Today, I'm going to show you guys a build that my friend IRL cooked up, and then I had Modi help me optimize in terms of like the skill tree and the gems, that kind of stuff. The working title for the build name is either Temu Temporalis or Shock Your Balls. Please let me know in the comments which name you like the most. We're currently split 50-50 between those two names in Twitch chat. 50% of the people like Temu Temporalis, 50% of the people like Shock Your Balls. I want to know what you guys think the build name should be. Anyways, this is going to be what I think is going to be one of the best non-Temporalis temple farming builds in the game, just because of how much mobility and clear that we end up getting with this build. It's quite tanky as well. Once you have the Headhunter, you will never die, and you will be able to clear rooms in 5 or 6 seconds on average. First things first, I think we should start off talking about how the build works. What are we actually doing, and what are the skill gems required to put everything together? You're probably thinking, okay, the minion, what do they actually do? I mentioned before, we're doing cast on minion death. So the way it works is every time we kill a minion, we are able to cast a level 30 spark. The way we kill minions is through this support gem, Minion Pack. And this is probably one of the most broken support gems in the game because it gives you 35% more damage. It is the most more damage multiplier you can get on any normal support gem. But the cost of it, the downside of this, is that every time you cast this ability, you need to remove 150% of your maximum life from a nearby minion. And normally that is a downside, but with cast on minion death, this is actually an upside for us. Because now, when we use something like Lightning Warp, as you'll see, one of our minions is going to die. So the only really complicated part of this build is easy to solve ultimately, but like the mechanic itself is a little bit complex, is how Minion Pack actually works. Now, for example, our Skeletal Warriors, they have 3k max life. Our Minion Pack is 150% of our maximum life from a nearby minion. If this 1.5x multiplier times our life was greater than the Skeletal Warrior life total, it wouldn't proc. It's not going to kill the minion. It just wouldn't proc at all. So what ends up happening is our life total needs to be exactly the same as the minion life total in order to kill it with one cast. And as you can see here, though, we only have 1500 life and our minions have 3k life. However, we are still able to kill a minion every single time we cast, as you can see here. The way we bypass this is by adding on minion instability. So without this minion instability here, as you see, we cast and nothing happens. We just lower the life of our minions. However, with minion instability, when we cast, the minion pack lowers the minion life to the kill threshold and then they will explode. So that is kind of the interaction that we have to be careful of. And that's the only interaction that we really need to be really cognizant of with our life. It's just making sure that our minion level is high or low enough so that the max life of the minion is within the range of our life pool to proc minion pack and kill every single Skeletal Warrior with one shot. We also throw in Essence Harvest here just to give us more mana because mana is a huge problem. And then we have Minion Mastery in here just because I think earlier we had not enough life on the Skeletal Warrior. Now it's not really much of a problem. And then also if your minion life is too high, then you can get a lower level Skeletal Warrior on your Scepter. If your minion life is too low, you can get a higher level one. And you can kind of play with the numbers that way. It's really easy. And then also we take a node on the tree that gives us some more minion life, a chance of crit damage bonus, but it also gives us 20% more minion life. So there's a lot of levers that you can use to kind of lower or increase the minion life so that it's within the correct range. But as you can see here, we're 1500 HP and our minions are 3k HP and we're still within the range, so it's completely fine. The only issue is if our life is too high, but usually our life can't be too low just because of minion instability. And then on top of that, we have Skeletal Clerics. As you can see, we have 5 Skeletal Warriors and 12 Skeletal Clerics. The whole point of the Skeletal Cleric, and we put Rapid Fasting and Brutal Sprint into them, is as you see here, we kill a minion and then the Clerics revive it almost immediately. Kill a minion, Clerics revive it almost immediately. Kill a minion, Clerics revive it almost immediately. So the point here is we want to keep our Clerics alive so that they can revive our Skeletal Warriors. You might be thinking, why don't we just run a fuck ton of Skeletal Clerics and kill them? Well, first of all, this is a level 20 Skeletal Cleric. It has 1400 max life. Second of all, Skeletal Warriors are such that if you kill one of them, 100% fills the cast on minion death energy requirements. So every time you kill one, it guarantees cast a spark. With Skeletal Clerics, you need to add support gems that give you increased energy or kill 2 of them. So it's just not that efficient. And also, if you kill too many Clerics, they stop reviving each other. I've noticed at a breakpoint of like 12, 11 or 12, your Clerics will almost always instant revive your Skeletal Warriors. So that's just kind of the idea here on why we run Skeletal Warriors and Skeletal Clerics. You pretty much need like 11 or 12 Skeletal Clerics and then as many Skeletal Warriors as you can. 5 felt pretty good for me, where like every time I cast, as you can see, I am killing a bunch of Skeletal Warriors and proccing a bunch of Sparks. So that's kind of like the idea here with these two. And that's also why Dark Defiler is so important, because we need Skeletal Warriors and we also need Spirit and then we also need damage. And this provides all 3 of those. So Ball Lightning makes it so we have balls that we can Lightning Warp to. And this is now our mobility ability. We never really run or walk. We're just casting balls and we are lightning warping to them. The beautiful thing here, we cast and then when we warp, we travel, we also cast sparks at the same time. So now our mobility ability is our damage ability. So if you think of Ball Lightning as like Temu Blink, it's a little bit like a worse Blink. What if our worst Blink could also one-shot all the mobs in the room, which is what happens. So we just do this worst Blink, which it's not that much worse, as you're going to see when I showcase the temple. We can now blink and also kill at the same time. It's kind of like an auto bomber build in that way. Not only is our blink our damage ability, but our blink actually buffs our damage ability too, because the way it works is Ball Lightning with Lightning Warp gives us lightning infusions. And on the tree with Elemental Equilibrium, we convert our lightning infusions into cold infusions, which then makes it so our sparks do like more than double the amount of damage they would normally do. That kind of puts together the whole interaction, right? We Ball Lightning, and then we Lightning Warp to them, and then we cast Lightning Infused Sparks due to cast on Minion death because of Minion Pact. And that is the entire interaction and how pretty much the entire build works. As you're going to see, we do have some mana problems. So the last little bit is about kind of fixing our mana problems with Mana Remnants. This is huge. This just makes it so if we're killing packs, we will have infinite mana. And then lastly is Charge Regulation. I kind of went over this in the item section, but Charge Regulation makes it so if we can get Endurance Charges, we have 20% more defenses pretty much. Every time we do a Lightning Warp, we'll gain power charges, but with Resonance, we convert these power charges into endurance charges, which then gives us like 600 more ES. So that is kind of the mechanic that we have going right there. It's completely optional, but it's just a little bit more defenses for us. And then next, we just have like the Spark ability. It's just a normal Spark gem. We include Minion Pact in it because it's 35% more damage. It's very, very nice. But this is just for like if you have like monsters in a corridor or like a door that are blocking it, you can just cast normal Spark as well. And the way it works is our normal Spark will cast, and then also, it'll proc Minion Pact as well, which will then cast a second Spark for free pretty much. So every Spark we cast is essentially 2 Sparks. It's really, really cool. This is only used in niche situations though. For the most part, we are just Lightning Warp blinking. And then last but not least, the most important part of the build in terms of quality of life. So we have this insane engine here, right? Where we are setting up balls, and then we can have our mobility ability be our clear ability as well. So we have our blink auto bomber budget set up. But the problem is that we have to keep on casting the balls in order to keep on blinking, right? So that is kind of annoying because the ball actually has kind of a significant cast time. But if we put Ball Lightning into our Spell Slinger, what happens is our balls now have 0-second cast time and can be cast while we're doing other abilities. So while we're blinking around, we can actually be casting more balls. So as you see here, we start off the combination with just like a normal Ball Lightning. But then once we start chaining that, we can actually use our Spell Slinger Ball Lightning to cast more Ball Lightnings. And then we can keep on Lightning Warping infinitely throughout the map, as long as we have enough mana to do so. And as long as we're killing monsters, we have infinite mana because of Mana Remnants. So then what ends up happening is we can literally just keep on blinking on cooldown. And this becomes way more accelerated in the temple because there's so many monsters there. And then what ends up happening is you are literally just unga bunga blinking around the whole temple. 3 seconds, you blink like 50 times, you clear the whole room. It's amazing. And I'll showcase that in a little bit for sure. But that is the idea for Spell Slinger. It's super, super nice. It essentially makes it so that you can just keep on chaining your balls infinitely. You can keep on bouncing and blinking forever as long as you have enough mana and as long as you have enough monsters to give you the mana. And that's kind of how all the skills tie in with each other and synergize incredibly well to create this like super budget auto bomber build. Let me talk to you about what the actual supports are going to be. So for Spell Slinger, we're gonna go Ball Lightning with Boundless Energy, Multi-Shot, and Valentis Propulsion. The Boundless Energy just makes it so that we can cast more Spell Slingers so that we end up like looping it so that we all have an infinite Spell Slinger energy and we can cast Ball Lightning through our Spell Slinger infinitely. The Multi-Shot is just so that we have more balls that we can jump to. And the Valentis Propulsion, it just makes it so that the projectile speed of the balls is boosted by our cast speed. That's how we are able to have slow balls like this on our normal cast, and then when we actually cast through Spellslinger, it's way faster. The Skeletal Warrior, we just have Minion Mastery. This is not necessary, but this is just to help you kind of pull the levers of how much HP your minions have. Minion Instability, this is 100% necessary. This is so that we kill our minions, even if the minion packed damage to the minions doesn't match the health of the minions 1-to-1. So for example, we have 1500 life and our Skeletal Warriors have 3k life here. We are still able to kill each warrior with 1 Lightning Warp, as you can see here. 1 click, 1 kill. The only other thing that we really need is Essence Harvest. This is just to recoup more mana. It's just a little bit of quality of life. Skeletal Cleric, we definitely need Brutus Brain. This is so that none of our Skeletal Clerics can die. Already won't be able to target it because the amount of damage we do with our Minion Pact is over the life of the Cleric, so it won't even be able to target it. But it's just really nice to have so that they don't die to like normal damage that monsters will deal to it. Rapid casting, I actually don't even know if this works or not, but theoretically it should make it so that they cast their revive on the minions a little bit faster. For Lightning Warp, we have Minion Pact. This just gives a lot of damage, and this is also our engine for, casting Spark later. Rapid casting, this is just so we can cast it faster. Zenith, this is for mana efficiency as well. This is efficiency just for mana efficiency. Magnified area, increase AoE. Zenith also does more damage. While Lightning, we have Unleash, Rapid casting, Projectile Acceleration 2, Multi-Shot 2, and Efficiency. Cast a Minion Death, this is our main engine for casting Spark when our minions die. Here you're going to want a high level Spark in here. We have a level 20 with a +1 and 23% quality. The good thing about this Spark is the sockets on it don't matter. So this is only a 4-link. And because it's only a 4-link, we were able to buy it for like 1 div. It's super cheap. Next, we go Projectile Acceleration 3. This makes it so we have more projectile speed, but also the projectile speed of the projectiles also apply to more projectile damage. And with 23% quality from the Spark, we have 34% additional projectile speed on our Sparks. So it just kind of makes it so we have a little bit more damage and we have more projectile speed. Projectile speed obviously gives us more damage to begin with, just because the faster it moves, the more likely it is to hit something. And then we get actual bonus damage from projectile 3 part. Brachiotis is not necessary for this build at all. Brachiotis actually isn't that useful just because most of our damage is chaos damage. However, if you do run Brachiotis, you can also run Embitter to turn that chaos damage into cold damage, which then gets the resistance benefits. But for the most part, chaos damage is usually pretty good. Most monsters don't have that much chaos res, if any. So this is doing pretty much true damage. But with Brachiotis plus Embitter, it does increase our damage pretty significantly. We're not just doing true damage now. We're doing like if the minions have, for example, elemental resistance on them, we are doing like 50%, 100% more damage, that kind of thing. Like I said, we are doing so much chaos damage. I think 70% or more of our damage is straight up chaos damage. So having a Brachiotis is a lot less impactful. What you can run instead is just going to be Lightning Mastery for +1. And then you can either run Efficiency or you can run Deliberation for 20% more damage. The downside for Deliberation is like less movement speed while casting, but since this is cast on Minion Death, it's just the upside. And Zenith here is 2 parts. The mana cost efficiency is very nice, but also really importantly, we get 30% more damage when we're above 90%. And as you'll see, a lot of the times when we are clearing packs, we will have mana remnants. So not only will we be 90% mana, but we will actually be like 1600 mana out of 1100, that kind of thing. And then mana remnants, it's again, this is how we get a lot of our mana regen. This is how we get infinite mana when we're clearing packs. Harmonic remnants too is really, really nice. 20% chance for an additional remnant, and also you can collect them further away. Remnant potency, it's just 20% increase effect, literally 0 downside. And then charge regulation, we don't need any sockets. This is our self-cast Spark. We go Minion Pack 2, insane percentage damage bonus, and also triggers our cast on Minion Death. Rapid casting, cast speed's huge. Projectile acceleration 2. This one you can go 3 or 2. This one we just wanted Pierce, but 3 works just as well. And then Zenith 2. This is more damage and also mana cost efficiency than Lightning Mastery. This is more damage. Yeah, that's the gems really quickly and the support gems and why we do the things that we do. Okay, so that was kind of how the build works. Let me show you a little bit about the gear that we need to enable all of this. Now, for our weapon slots, there's only one thing that we actually need to have, and that's Dark Defiler. This is incredibly important for 3 different reasons. Kind of as I explained before, this is just too important to get rid of. We just need this. For the actual main hand weapon that you're using, the damage, you have 2 options here. The incredibly budget version, like the 100 Exalt version of this build, could be run with a Threaded Light. Hold on, let me move my camera for you. As you can see here, we have 322 Spirit. Threaded Light then would be giving us close to like 400% increased spell damage, which is really, really nice. That is the budget version though. I would highly recommend though that you get a dueling wand specifically because of the Spellslinger interaction that I was describing before with the gems. Dueling wand, Spellslinger just takes this build from like a little clunky to making it feel a lot more seamless. You're just constantly casting balls and you're constantly teleporting. and you need to have the Dueling Wand Spellslinger implicit in order to enable that. But ultimately here, all we're looking for on this wand is going to be +5 lightning spell skills, crit chance, cast speed. These three are the most important. You want them as high as possible. And then you want some sort of damage. Spell damage is the best one, but it's the most expensive. So I'm happy to settle on just double gain. This wand cost me, I think, 11 div. A wand with like tier 4 cast speed instead of tier 2 cost me like 4 div or something like that. No one is playing lightning spell wands, so you can get lightning spell wands really, really cheaply. The helmet, the body, and the amulet all work together. You need to get around 100 spirit on all three of these combined. So you can get that using a Alpha's Howl. This is the cheapest, most budget way to get it. You get 100 spirit here plus 70 res. It's very, very nice, although it gives you almost no defenses because we're not really doing anything with this evasion rating. But it gives you a bunch of reses and a bunch of spirit, which is awesome. The alternative is you can go a ES robe with like 50, 60 spirit, and then a gold amulet with 40 to 50 spirit. The problem is that a vile robe with like good stats and all that spirit is going to cost you like 20 div, and the same amulet with the 40 to 50 spirit is going to cost you like 100 div. This one currently cost me like 5 div, and this one currently cost me like 12 div. So it's way more expensive, but the upside is that you get to use a ES helmet and you get an extra like 300 flat ES, which then gets multiplied to like end up being around like 1k more ES, which is very, very valuable considering how little ES we have. Awesome. So that's kind of like all we're looking for here is spirit, most importantly, but on the body armor, we just need high ES and then resistances. And on the amulet, all we really care about is getting increased rarity. Like we need to get our rarity from our amulet and our rings. So we need high rarity plus proj and cast speed. This, again, I said costs 12 div. You are more than happy to go with a +2 amulet here. That's totally acceptable if it's a lot cheaper and more within your budget. But there's only 4 stats actually doing anything for us. Rarity on the prefix, rarity on the suffix, plus proj, cast speed. Increased evasion rating does nothing for us. And this mana doesn't do nothing for us, but it's not necessary. It's tier 8 mana. It's whether it's on the amulet or not, it does not matter. Then for the ring, it's the same thing. Cast speed, rarity, and then res. We only care about those 4 things. These other 2 prefixes are dead. This ring cost me like 3 div. Launder's Touch, less than 1 div. These 3 together end up giving us, I think, 125 item rarity, which is more than good enough. I think 100 to 150 is like where you want to be. 125, acceptable. I also throw on a gold charm because I'm cringe, but you know, you can have this be whatever you want. This could be a silver charm if you're running a lot of chilled ground maps. The next thing is the boots. This is really important as well. We're going Bones of Allure. So these give us 5% movement speed. They can roll up to 15%. You can also get Amunamu's Gaze. Yeah. So you can get up to 40% movement speed, 1% movement speed per 15 spirit, up to 40%. This will actually really just be like 25% more movement speed or something like that. It's nice to have, but ultimately we are mostly going to be traveling or like moving with our ball lightning. So not having movement speed is not a big deal at all. But the important thing here is that it gives us reservation efficiency on undead minions. We have 17 minions here, which is like an insane amount of spirit reservation. I think we have literally like 200 spirit reservation towards minions. So this is the same thing as getting more spirit on our boots. And then for the sockets, for all of these, I'm just putting in resistance runes just because we have a headhunter and we also have these boots. Neither of these give us any resistances, and you normally get a lot of resistances on your boots and your belt. So we really are struggling to get resistances, although I am fully capped on resistances, but truthfully with headhunter, you don't need to be res capped. So you could really get a reservation rune here and then a cast speed rune here and just be undercapped. It's not a big deal at all. And then that kind of brings us to our belt. It's just a headhunter. We happen to corrupt a 24% max ES one. You don't need that. It's just nice to have. It gives us 300 more ES. It's really, really nice, but you don't need that at all. These are really expensive. And then gloves is just high energy shield with some sort of resistances on there to help cap up. But yeah, that's pretty much the gear. It's just a lot of defenses in terms of ES, resistances, and then spirit is the hardest part. We need a lot of spirit to get this build running. Like I said before, we want 5 skeletal minions and then we want like 12 clerics in order to maintain our cast on minion death. For the charms, you know, you can just go like thawing plus stone, and then like the third one's flex. You can do silver charm or gold charm, whatever you want. And then for the flasks don't really matter. I'm running a level 40 flask. This one, you just want instant recovery. And then the mana flask, God, this is terrible. I should really upgrade this, but you just want a mana flask that'll pretty much the same thing that gives you instant recovery. And that way, when you run out of mana, you can just spam your mana flask. That's the whole setup in terms of gear. It's really straightforward, super cheap. The headhunter included, this one is 12, this is 12, this is like 5, this is 1, this is 1, this is 1, this is 1, like 1, like 65 div, 70 div worth of gear. But truthfully, this upgrade from the 4 div wand, no difference. This upgrade from the 2 div amulet, no difference. I have a Rockiatas in here. I'm telling you, all the upgrades that I made really have felt like very, very little difference. Like it's a little bit more damage, but as you're gonna see, like we're not really lacking that much in damage. So I have like 120 div just sitting in my stash simply because like getting a better wand doesn't do anything. I mean, it gives me a little bit more damage, but like I already have enough damage. You know, getting like more defenses, like I can get a better body armor, I can get another 100 ES in my body. But, like that doesn't do anything either because I already can't die. I can get like more damage, I can get more mana, like there's a bunch of things that I can do, but like it doesn't really matter. So that's why I haven't really been focusing on upgrades. Instead of clearing a room in 7 seconds, I clear it in like 5 seconds now, which is important. But my point is that it's functionally the same. And you can definitely run this on cheaper budget gear. The passive tree is honestly really, really straightforward. There's only 2 nodes that are really noteworthy that I've already gone over, and that's Elemental Equilibrium. This is so that we can get cold infusions on our spark, doubles our damage, and then Resonance, just so that we can have endurance charges, so that we can have more defenses. Besides that, we're going for really generic nodes that just give us more damage. We take a lot of crit chance and crit damage nodes, like these here, and then we take a lot of ES nodes here, energy recharge, energy shield, that kind of thing. We utilize the Oracle passive, which is Unseen Path plus Intertwined Realities. Unseen Path just gives us access to extra nodes, but more importantly, we get Intertwined Realities, which allow us to get pretty much from nothing from our notables. So here you see we have Wild Surge Incantation activated. This skill sucks, doesn't do anything for us, but it allows us to then activate the Power Storm, Chronomancy, Restless Dead, Growing Swarm, Profane Commander, Intense Flames, Illuminated Crown. You know, there's a lot of nodes that we can take because of that. It lets us hop around a lot. And then, you know, Lesser Harm is really, really nice just because of crit damage being less effective against you. And then Inevitable Crits for us, it just gives us more damage. That's like all we really care about on the tree. It's just like generic stuff. This tree is just min-maxing crit chance, crit bonus, increased damage, and then energy shield, that kind of stuff. Lastly is the jewels. So for the jewels, it's more of the same. We're going for crit chance, crit damage. That's all we really care about. These jewels are like 30 exalt each. They're really cheap. Crit chance, crit damage bonus, the higher the better. And then this one, it had an open prefix. We luck or docked elemental damage, which is a really, really good prefix. Spell damage is even better. And then percentage increased energy shield would be like the best prefix you can get just because of how valuable it is. And then in the middle here, we have a time lost sapphire that just gives us crit chance, crit damage bonus, elemental damage, large radius. This one was like 5 div or something like that. Not super expensive. Time loss synergizes incredibly well with like the notables because then we can just, you know, get a bunch of extra notables, which then give us a bunch of crit chance, crit damage bonus, and then elemental damage just because we have access to so many nodes here that are already pretty good on their own. That's pretty much it for the passive tree. So let me show you guys as well like what a map looks like. I think collecting crystals is also a really important part of efficient meta build these days, just because this is a temple running build. So we want to be able to have a build that collects crystals quickly as well. And as you're going to see here, it's going to be pretty nice. All we need to do is find one monster pack and then we can just get the ball rolling, so to speak. And as you can see here, we're just lightning warp and then spell slinger balls. Lightning warp, spell slinger balls, lightning warp, spell slinger balls. The spell slinger energy is generated by the lightning warp. And we just zoom, 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 go through the entire map, just bounce, bounce, bounce. Infinite mana. Damage is one-shotting everything. And we just go like this. So not quite as fast as Blink, but it's still quite fast on its own. And it only, this is like where it's strong at, but not where it shines the most, believe it or not. Because once we get into a temple, when I show you that in a little bit, you will see that like in the temple, it actually goes fucking insano mode. But this is all you do. And then boom, you find your crystals and you're good to go. That's just the idea of it. You can just blink infinitely with Spell Slinger balls, with Lightning Warp. You only really need to cast the first ball lightning manually, and then after that, all the subsequent ones are going to be cast with Spell Slinger with 0 animation. It's super, super comfy, super, super convenient. Let me show you guys what it looks like in the temple. I think this is where it really, really shines. As you can see, how many rooms do we have? We have like half our temple filled. It's not like the end game juice, but I'm going to tell you right now, like it's not going to get much harder. Now, the reason why Headhunter is so important for this build, if we're farming temple, is just because, look here, we have 3,000% increased number of rare monsters, right? That's 30x the number of rare monsters that we normally see. So every room is going to give us like 40 Headhunter stacks, and that is just so much value to be ignoring. Okay, so a room like this is a perfect example with the Spy Master. You just literally just bounce around the whole room, and you just cast a bunch of sparks, cast everything. You're casting Lightning Warp everywhere. You go clear the whole room, and then boom, it's done. Just like that, super simple. It's quite nice. And then here, other rooms, like once you get some stacks going as well, you get more projectiles, more everything. You just zoom, 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 Clear the whole room. Next room. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Missing. You need to click on the armories. Ball rack. Again, this is done. Very, very easy. Next room. Boom, 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 boom. The corners are a little bit tricky, but you clear corners decently well still. But yeah, like there's some stuff that's still going to be annoying, like proximity packs. Although we do handle proximity packs a little bit better than normal builds do, because we can't blink like right on top of them. But yeah, it just looks kind of like this. You get into a room, you throw your balls out infinitely. You just blink around a few times, spawn the boss, and then you just clear it. You're doing so many projectiles, you're moving around so much that like you actually will end up reaching most of the room most of the time, right? Then it's just like rinse and repeat. Next room, it's the same thing. You're throwing out a billion balls, you're throwing out a billion sparks all over the place, and like the movement is like kind of disorienting in some ways, but I'm telling you, like I can do this in read chat. Like I don't have to look at the screen at all, right? I'm just holding down I'm holding down my right click and I'm pressing my spell slinger balls every once in a while. It's just this easy. Like again, this room, I don't have to look. I can look at you guys. I just have to like hold down right click, press my balls, and I'll teleport around the room a few times, and then almost everything is dead. Sometimes the stuff in the corner will survive, but then that's where you can use the manual balls, whatever. Blink around, you're done. These rooms, like the Spy Master rooms, are like the easiest parts, right? You just hold down right click, and you're just bouncing around the whole fucking room. You're killing everything. It's insano. You wait for the Spy Master to spawn, and you're done. Next room. Boom, 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 boom. Blink, 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 blink. Tink, 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 tink. And yeah, it's just that simple again. It's super comfy. It's really easy to do. And like it's really easy to pilot as well. And you just clear out temple rooms so quickly. Because again, our mobility ability is our damaging ability as well. So we just like jump around the whole room, like literally hit like every inch of this, every inch of every surface of this room can be hit by us just from the blink bullshit, and we just end up clearing the room like really, really fast. It really is just like having a budget Temporalis. It's a budget auto bomber. It's so nice. And again, this is with like 50 div worth of gear. You can do the same thing. Like the only thing you need is the headhunter, and then like 10 div of gear. Like I'm telling you, every time I make an upgrade, I think, why did I even make that upgrade? I don't see a difference at all. Like I got a Rockiatas and I was like, did our damage even go up? I can't tell. But that's all it really is. I mean, I can keep going, but it's just more or less of the same. One thing I do want to show you guys though is the single target. So we only have like a few headhunter stacks here, but as you can see, this boss, tier 3 Golem Works room, he's going to be kind of tanky for us. He's going to take us 2 rotations to kill him. That's the only downside of this build, is we don't kill single target that well. Spark Comet or something, you're going to kill him in like 2 seconds. It's going to take us like 3 or 4 seconds instead. So it's not like the worst thing ever, but that is definitely a downside of the build. The upsides of the build are the mobility, the damage, the clear. The downsides are the single target is good, not great. And also we have a lot of mana issues if we're not near monster packs specifically. And that's pretty much everything. A lot of people in chat were asking for this build, how it works, how to get it set up. So here it is. This is my first time making build guides like this in PoE 2. So please give me any sort of constructive criticism or feedback that you can on what I can improve for these videos, or if there's any information that you feel like I'm missing, please ask me in the comments. I'll try my best to keep an eye on it and answer all questions. I'll probably be live streaming by the time you see this video. So if you want to ask me in Twitch chat or YouTube chat as well, feel free to ask me questions there. I hope you guys give this build a try. I'm really eager to hear how it works out for you boys. 07.